It's March 2012. A 22-year-old computer science student pulls up to the U.S. border. It's a routine passport check, but when the officer runs his name, the screen flashes. Weapons are drawn. He's arrested on the spot. His crime? Leading a teenage hacker group that infiltrated Microsoft, Epic Games, and over 24 other tech giants, stealing source code worth more than $100 million. But they weren't state-sponsored spies or organized criminals. They were just kids who couldn't stop playing the game. This is the story of the Xbox Underground. And at its center was David Pokora. David was destined for this life. By elementary school, he'd already built his own web browser. When the original Xbox launched in 2001, he didn't just play it, he reverse engineered it. He learned to crack the console, install custom software, and modify game physics. In the underground Xbox modding community, he became a legend known as Xenon. Then came 2005. The Xbox 360 changed everything. Microsoft had learned from their mistakes, and the new console was locked down tight. To access its inner workings, you needed a developer kit, a specialized console strictly controlled by Microsoft. But then, a stroke of luck. Someone found thousands of them in a recycling yard, a failed attempt by Microsoft to destroy them. David got his hands on several and discovered something extraordinary: access to PartnerNet, Microsoft's private developer platform where unreleased games lived. He started posting screenshots of games months before their release, and his reputation exploded. And he wasn't alone anymore. His activities attracted others. There was Dylan Wheeler, a 14-year-old from Australia who went by SuperDae, reckless, brilliant, and addicted to the thrill. Sanadodeh, a 24-year-old tech genius from New Jersey called Sonic. And just in May, David's friend from Delaware, known as MTW, he would later become the most dangerous connection they'd ever make. But they didn't know that yet. For David, the temptation was irresistible. In 2009, he figured out how to create mods for the new Call of Duty, charging $100 for 30 minutes of godlike gameplay. Walk through walls, never miss a shot. The money poured in, $8,000 a day. He was 20 years old, living like a millionaire. Activision sent legal letters, but David ignored them. He thought, they're just video games. It's not like I'm stealing real information. But that's exactly what was about to happen. One night, Dylan received a mysterious message with a list of usernames and passwords from Epic Games' forum. He found the credentials for an IT employee and wondered if people reuse passwords. He tried the login on the employee's Gmail. It worked. He messaged David immediately. They spent months exploring the network, setting rules for themselves, no customer data, no credit cards, just games. Then they found it. The complete source code for Gears of War 3, months before its release. This was bigger than anything they had ever imagined. Sanadodeh used his modified modem to download hundreds of gigabytes overnight, covering their tracks. He couldn't sleep. The adrenaline was too much. He burned 8 Blu-rays, labeled them wedding videos, and mailed them to David. Days later, the game appeared online. The headlines were everywhere. Epic Games called law enforcement. The fear hit them all at once. David panicked, encrypting his hard drives with shaking hands. Sanadodeh went dark. But Dylan? He kept logging in while authorities were actively scanning the servers, searching for them. His audacity paid off. He found a file containing every important access credential at Epic Games. He now owned the company. And this is where everything spiraled out of control. The group couldn't stop. The thrill was too addictive. One by one, they infiltrated Microsoft, EA, Bungie, Blizzard, Valve, Activision, and nearly 25 corporations in total. They downloaded unreleased games, sold them on the black market, and invited friends over to play titles that wouldn't be public for months. David started making serious money selling games to a mysterious buyer called Xbox Dev Guy. He had no idea who this person really was. That ignorance would cost him everything. 2 new members joined the group: Austin Alcala, a shy 16-year-old high school student, and Nathan LaRoe, an 18-year-old programmer. They were about to cross a line no one should ever cross. It was the late summer of 2012, and the Xbox Underground was on a collision course with reality. Their digital playground was about to become a federal crime scene. Deep within the servers of Zombie Studios, 2 teenagers, Austin and Nathan, stumbled upon something that made their blood run cold: a direct link to a U.S. Defense Department server. On it was an AH-64D Apache simulator, a flight training program commissioned by the government. They knew this was different. This was dangerous. This could land them on a national security watch list. But they downloaded it anyway, joking they'd call themselves the Xbox Underground in prison. The laughter wouldn't last. Fast forward to August 2012. 2 other members of the group, David and Dylan, found Microsoft's Holy Grail. Buried deep in their servers, protected by layers of security, were the technical documents, schematics, and source code for Project Durango, the unannounced next-generation Xbox One. Their plan was as brilliant as it was insane: build one themselves. The parts were all commercially available, and Nathan volunteered to put it together. And it worked. They had a functioning Xbox One prototype before the world even knew it existed. A buyer offered $5,000. Justin, another member of their crew, offered to handle the shipping. But the package never arrived. Something was wrong. Then, Dylan, always the impulsive one, did the unthinkable. Without telling anyone, he posted photos of their prototype on eBay. The auction exploded, with bids soaring past $20,000. Microsoft immediately filed a copyright claim, and Dylan, using his online alias, started giving interviews. The rest of the group was terrified. This kind of attention could bring them all down. And then, the betrayal they never saw coming. Federal agents raided Nathan's house, then another member's, Sanadodeh. In a fit of rage, Dylan posted the agents' names online, making threats he would soon regret. In February 2013, Dylan was arrested in Australia. But as the investigation unfolded, something bizarre kept happening. Private chat logs and even audio recordings of their calls kept surfacing. Someone they trusted had been recording everything. The court documents referred to a Person A from Wilmington, Delaware. Person A was Justin, the friend who offered to encrypt their hard drives, the friend who volunteered to ship the prototype. He'd been working with federal authorities the entire time, ever since a minor arrest years ago. Every plan, every conversation, every secret, all recorded. The betrayal was absolute. But the story gets even crazier. A new 18-year-old hacker named Armand contacted the group. He claimed he could get inside Microsoft's physical campus. His offer? A real official Durango prototype in exchange for server access and cash. The group thought he was insane, but they agreed. At 9 p.m., wearing a Microsoft sweater and carrying a cloned access card, Armin walked right onto the Redmond campus. He'd been sneaking in for months, dreaming of working there. He grabbed 3 prototypes, stuffed them in a backpack, and walked out. A week later, Microsoft called him. He got the job. For 2 weeks, he lived his dream. And then, surveillance footage caught him. He was arrested. By March 2014, the entire group was in custody. The evidence, thanks to Justin, was overwhelming. They all pled guilty. David got 18 months and later became a successful cybersecurity consultant. Austin received probation and also went legit, heading up security for a startup. Sanadodeh's story turned darker. Crushed by a harsh probation officer, he fell into a cycle of depression and substance abuse. He's now clean, rebuilding his life. Nathan, terrified of prison, fled and was caught. Shortly before his release, he came out as trans, becoming Holly. A year later, the weight became too much, and Holly took her own life. Dylan was the only one who pled not guilty. After years of legal battles, he fled the country. He started a new life in a new company in the UK, but in 2020, he vanished completely. And Justin, the informant, he was eventually arrested in 2017 for fraud and money laundering, sentenced to nearly 8 years in prison. The Xbox Underground wasn't taken down by a superior firewall. They were brought down by ego, impulse, and betrayal. They were just brilliant, bored kids playing a game. And in the end, the game played them. Because of their actions, companies like Microsoft and Epic Games completely overhauled their security, spending billions to protect against the next group of teenagers with nothing but a keyboard and a world of curiosity. They changed the industry forever, but became a tragic cautionary tale in the process. Thanks for watching.